Hi, my name is Jay Brew, and we are going through the Arizona AAR contract on most important lines and how we save $20,000 on average on every contract. Stay tuned. All right, we're going to dive right into it. This is the first page of the AAR contract in Arizona, and the first page is pretty much the most important: price, earnest money, and how you're going to pay for this. The FHA loan here you have to have a pre-qual letter with the contract. If you have a loan, if you have cash, you have to show proof of funds. Purchase price is most important. That's where we're going to save you 20 grand the easiest. But we don't want to have it too low and then we get into this counter back and forth. We want to go very low. We stand our ground, and that's what we do. Earnest money, 3,000 is a little low, and we always add this line because I do not like my buyers stressing out on when the title company calls and they're just like, hey, could you get this money? I don't want them to stress like that. Close of escrow date is obviously important. If you're getting a loan, it's usually 30 days. They can do it a little bit quicker, but we want to ask the lender beforehand. We also want to ask the seller when their favorite time to close if you're flexible. These are all the addendums attached with the contract. The HOA addendum is typical. We're going to go through that real quick. Lead-based paint if it's 1978 or older. And there's a additional clause. That's a popular addendum we can add as well. But that's another video in itself. Fixtures and personal property. This is very underutilized. Many agents don't take advantage of this. I think it's important, and especially if my buyers think it's important. But anything that's glued or screwed stays in the property. It's a part of the house. It's part of the house sale. Even things like stove. You can just go through this list. Like stoves are already included, and then refrigerator, washer, dryer. We want to include all that. If you want your own washer, dryer, then I would still get it, and then you can sell it. Other personal line 61 and 62. This is another underutilized line in every contract. There's a lot of times where sellers, like a TV on a wall with the stand, right? Sellers typically don't even want to take it. So if the whole thing of taking it down, let's just leave it. If you like the TV, let's just leave it. It's going to save you a bunch of work, time, and the damage that it might take off the wall. The seller's supposed to repair it, but you never know what happens. You want to read every line in this contract. I've only highlighted several, because this video is going to be 10 minutes already. But the type of financing, we have to put that in there as well. The seller concessions has been so big lately because of the high interest rates. We can buy down the rate, the 2-1 buy down. You've probably got emails from me on this before, but I have 3% there. There's many things that we can use, such as closing costs. Seller concessions guide. What closing costs do seller concessions cover? We can ask for property taxes, homeowners insurance, loan origination fees, buy downs, inspection fees, title and recording fees, appraisal, settlement agent fees, especially if the buyer does not have as much money to come to close. But this is a typical of what we can ask. For instance, like a conventional primary or secondary home, we can actually ask up to 3% if it's less than 10%, 6%, even 9% if it's over 25. FHA, 6% we can go. FHA allows us more. VA as well. This is how it's going to work with the new NAR lawsuit for buyer fees. The sellers are still going to pay for it anyway. Sellers will want to offer it because they want to have their most eyes on their property. They want to offer agents because buyers agents it's going to be confusing for a while, but my plan is I work with a buyer. If the seller's offering whatever, I charge 2.5. But if you want closing costs, we'll add that on there. Sellers will pay the commissions. On the MLS right now, they're still offering it, and I don't really expect the slowdown of that. But we just deal with that when the time comes. But we're working with buyers. We're going to have buyer-broker agreements in place before showing properties, probably starting in July, somewhere in there. Appraisal costs, we can get this paid by the seller as well, but it's all negotiation. Depends how much you ask. Title and escrow fees. We use Clear Title or Magnus Title, and we negotiate the best rates for our buyers. That's what we do. We also get lenders' fees negotiated as well. The due diligence period. Here is where we're going to save a lot of money for you as well. We want the full 10-day home inspections. Sometimes this line can be done with 5 or 7 if it's a multiple bid home, because it looks more attractive to the seller, right? The seller doesn't want his property off for 10 days. But we need our full 10 days, because if we can hold it out, the seller is more willing to do the repairs. In those repairs, I'll get to the Binzer. Actually, we'll go there right now. All right, here is a sample Binzer. This is what a sample Binzer looks. We do an inspection. The inspector gives us a report, and then you can either accept it, reject it, or provide seller an opportunity. So on this particular one, we didn't ask for much, but you go page 12, peeling drywall, tape, broken tiles on the roof to be replaced. But we need the house in good shape. And I am a big proponent of this. The worst that they can say, just think about this, the worst that the seller can say is no. And the seller's got to realize that too. When I represent a seller, you know what? That's how buyers think. The worst that can happen is the seller says no. Line 225 of the contract, square footage. I guarantee 95% of all agents do not do this. When you see a square footage on a house, you got to check it out. You got to go to the assessor's website, download the planogram, even go to the old listings. You got to research, did they add some square footage? If it's builder, we got to measure. I know how to measure. We'll get your house measured, but price per square foot is like $300 to $600. Like, it is expensive in Arizona. So like 100 square feet, that can be like $30,000. It's really important. Another thing we do is we need to investigate termites. A termite report is an inspection is only like $50, but this is a way to save money as well. Most houses will show signs of termites, even if it's a tube, an old tube, but we will get a free 1-year warranty and a treatment, and those can cost up to like $300 to $500. So we get that for you. All right, this is back to the Binzer. The Binzer once we give the Binzer, the seller has 5 days to respond to us. What do they want to do? Are they going to correct them all? Are they going to do half of it? And then we go back and forth. Then we have another 5 days to accept it. And then all the repairs have to do buyer 3 days before close of escrow. And I go out there and I make sure things are done. A home warranty. I know if you have a home warranty, you're probably frustrated with your company, but as a buyer, I can sell a home warranty to get the seller to pay for our home warranty so that you're protected, at least for a year. If the AC, the water heater, any of those items, if they're like even over 5 years, 7 years, we need your house protected, because the worst thing you can do is in that first year is if you have a bunch of trouble, and we'll go over that. There's a lot of costs. Additional terms and conditions, there's a lot of things we can put in here too, but why not just ask for it up front? For instance, if this is just one part of it, but we want to ask for the Binzer, the inspection report in the Binzer is used for items that are not in working order. But for instance, if there's a back wall that's low, you can see over it, there's no privacy, my buyer won't buy the house unless the wall is up. So we can go seller to finish off back wall fence, adding 2 layers of identical blocks with similar layout, matching the paint color, and painting entire wall. It's happened on a few deals of mine from the buyer, and I've been on the seller. TV brackets to remain in both bedrooms. Just things like that. Just keep adding. They add up. $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. Terms of acceptance, I like to do quickly, like 24 hours minimum. But that is pretty much going over the AAR contract. And if you have any questions about this contract, let me know and give me a text. Respond on my emails I send all the time. Anyway, It was good chatting with you, and I hope you got a lot out, and I hope it explains the most important points of the AAR contract. And I just wanted to let you know, if you're not even using me, if you're using another agent, you need to push him on all of these points on the contract. Some agents are too shy to ask. If you don't ask, you don't get. All right, have a great day. My name's Jay Brew. Have a great day. Bye. And that pretty much wraps up the AAR contract, and I go over on how you can save $20,000 per contract. Even if you're not using me, you need to push your agent to put in all of those line items that I went over that were highlighted in yellow. Get them to ask. The worst that can go with this saying, the worst that can happen is the seller says no. The seller needs to sell their property. They will get back to you. The only time, well, if there's multiple bid situations, then you lose a little bit of negotiation there. So it doesn't always work on every contract, but the market we are in right now, it's a balanced market. We're going into summer. These things work. And trust me, you're going to thank me later. All right, hope you enjoyed it. And make sure you read the contract, go over this video, and add these items to your contract. Have a great day. I'm Jay Brew.